Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Aaron Wright, and I'm a senior partner here with Action Coach Peachtree here in Fayetteville and Peachtree City, Georgia. And today we have...
I'm Kingslea Thompson. I am the owner of the Hummingbird Wine Bar Market located at 240 Glynn Street here in Fayetteville, Georgia.
All right. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So today, we're going to talk to you about business, journey into business ownership, challenges, best practices, and kind of try to share a sneak peek into what it's really like to kind of build and operate a business. I think the analogy is we always try to help businesses to leave the nest, so to speak, to be able to fly off and operate on their own, to build something that is its own self-sustaining entity. So we'll talk about that journey that you're on throughout our conversation today. So, but first, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe, as you've heard on many other YouTube videos and content creators, so you can get notifications from when we produce other content like this. And then if you like the content, please do feel free to share it on your own social media and social platforms. So again, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, very good. So first question. So give us kind of a 1,000-foot view of kind of who you are, your background, and a little bit about your business to start.
Yeah, so my name is Kingslea. I am the owner and operator of the Hummingbird Wine Bar Market. I can't continue on without saying my husband, who is the other counterpart of this, Michael Thompson, who had the original vision of what we do here at the Hummingbird, and still works in operations a little bit, but has moved on to other development opportunities. So yeah, so I'm here full time, and the Hummingbird Wine Bar Market that previously used to be the Hummingbird Room was only a speakeasy located in Fayetteville behind the new City Hall in the where Line Creek Bus Bar now is. We were in that space. It was a passion project. We were working and wanting to sell wine and cocktails to the public, and the city allowed us to do that. We had a great time. It was fun, and we realized we could continue it on. So larger picture, we were working with the city of Fayetteville to produce 240 Glynn Street. So Round Town, the umbrella company of who we are, worked to find the different businesses, develop this space, and it's about 10,000 square feet and hosts 4 different businesses. So the Hummingbird is one little part of that. 3 other businesses were all women owned here in this building, and it's been a fun ride. We opened up in November. So as the Hummingbird, we were moving locations, and we knew we wanted to grow and continue that speakeasy aspect. We don't advertise it. We still have the Hummingbird Room for those that come here, but a broader picture, we turned it into the Wine Bar Market. So that is being able to pour wine out in the main common space at 240 Glynn Street. We do different events out there. We have live music on the weekends, and then the actual store of it, we have home good items, wine retail, and local curated items such as Aloe Farms, DeLong Delish, that are all local partners here that sell in our market.
That's amazing. So you've taken kind of the old City Hall building and turned it into kind of a local market of sorts. Right.
Yeah. The market was like an obvious as we were growing, and we had a coffee and charcuterie space coming, a pottery space, a salon and boutique, and we needed like one house that could sell the food items that like Java and Brie can bring into lunch, easy grab and go things. And then on the wine retail, I'm super passionate about wine, and we wanted to offer things that you can't find at a grocery store right down the road, or even the liquor stores that have popped up now in Fayetteville. It's curated. Most of them are natural organic wines, just for what I have been interested in and what's growing here in the wine market. So yeah, that's kind of where we landed.
All right. I'm going to deviate from the set script a little bit and ask because I know there is a very much growing wine market in North Georgia. Are any of the wines that you have there grown here in Georgia?
That's a great question. Currently, no. So we have a very limited number of what we're doing. I've got about 100 different bottles. So in the wine world, that is so small. There's over 100 varieties, so there's not a whole lot of where I can go. So but we focus more on old and new world, trying to have a good, decent middle ground between the two. So in terms of domestic here, primarily we're in Oregon, Willamette Valley, California, Napa, obviously.
Nice. Okay.
And that's kind of where it all started for us anyways. And so, we hope to grow as Georgia grows their market. I think there is some room for growth there. But as they're continuing, there's a lot of laws behind distribution and how that works. And there's not a whole lot of Georgia wine distribution. And so we're open to it in the future for sure.
That's amazing. Yeah, there's the wine market in Georgia is growing very fast, but like you say, they're hamstrung a lot by the local laws, but also they're so young. A lot of times the wine from the wineries in Georgia is actually still California wine because the vines in Georgia aren't old enough to produce the kinds of grapes or the quality grapes that they're looking for. So it's just neat. If you're a wine aficionado, then it's inside baseball a little bit.
Yeah, like Napa got put on the map in the 60s, and that was what, 60 years ago, over 60 years ago. And Georgia is like in the baby stages. And while we have some cool, like good, cool climates in North Georgia, especially in that like Cleveland area, there's some time. It needs some growth, but like I follow several of these wineries that are up there, and like their branding is spot on. Like they're working to really grow and to be put on the map. Georgia is not quite in like the top 5 states yet either of the United States, but they're close and growing. So I think there's definitely some benefit to it.
You guys are on the cutting edge. That's cool. So give us a kind of a top-down view as to how your company is structured, both from just a general interest as far as how your business is structured right now, but also from a risk management perspective. So how do you currently have it structured from your location to the business or your relationship to the other businesses that are where you're located?
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship. We've went like even further out from that. When we started, we saw such a need for a younger, like millennial generation to have something to come back to, whether they grew up in Fayetteville or they're transplants now because of all of the industry that's moved into Fayette County. There's such a huge need to have community places for them to come. And so we started there, and are really passionate about young entrepreneurs having a place and a voice here in the community, especially Fayetteville. Where I grew up in Fayetteville. We came back to it. I don't know that I necessarily would have chosen it even, but my husband was like a huge part of that. It was like, no, like let's be a voice and work to grow it. And so I feel like we have to tell our background somewhat before we even go into that structure, because it kind of all has just like fallen into place over the last few years. But like the biggest and most important thing is we just want to be a good neighbor. We want to help other businesses succeed because that helps our business succeed. For a business to go, belly up around here is detrimental to any business, whether they're a competition or not. It's so important to see them succeed. And so for us to be in 240 Glynn Street is so valuable because we're working with 3 other businesses. And I mean, weekly, we've got wine events with the Pottery Studio. We will do events with the salon where they're pulling from coffee or they're pulling from wine. So everyone's working together and feeding into each other's businesses. So structurally with the Hummingbird, I'm operating it. So there's kind of 2 wings. There's like the speakeasy wing, and then there's the market side of it. Okay. And so the market is all, grab and go, whether that's wine, gifts, different items. And then the speakeasy is coming and sitting. It's enjoying a glass of wine, enjoying cocktails. So under that arm, we have a bar manager who's here, and she's here on the weekends, and is, making the schedules and doing all those things. And she's a lifesaver and has been amazing for me. And is creating cocktails. So we're rotating things quarterly. We're trying to stay on top of the market and want to provide different things, especially for regulars that come in all the time and shake things up. So that's the main structure. And then, of course, I'm business partners with my husband, which is interesting. They see that a lot of businesses. We've loved it most times. And it's been great because like what I am passionate about and enjoy, he's the opposite, and is great on, helping pick up the slack where I can't fit in. And then we also have a little toddler too. So, it's tag teaming that as well. But
cool.
So, and then risk management is interesting. It's tricky. If you're if you touch alcohol at all, you got to shop around and find the right carriers and the right people that will cover you. And it's the same in the restaurant industry. We are technically, we're under the health department, and we are technically in that same realm. And as soon as you touch, whether it's events or alcohol, neither, it takes a minute to get the right coverage. There's a lot of risk in that, and we hold a lot of responsibility. There's certain things that we're just never going to do as a business in terms of owning, a so-called bar. We just, we want to be ahead of the game, but we want to also provide an experience. So that doesn't necessarily mean like coming in and you're going to get, shots or different things. Like that's not part of behind what we want to do. We want to have something that is like an actual experience. So if you don't drink alcohol, you still have a place here. Non-alcoholic options. We have food from our neighbors that you can bring in and dine in here and be in like a cozy, fun, different environment that Fayetteville hasn't seen before. So I think that did that answer most of your question? But
it did. Absolutely. That's perfect.
Essentially, it's a hot topic for sure. And as you're thinking through like owning a business, risk should be the number one priority, but it often isn't. You're all, oh yeah, we got to get insurance coverage, or we got to do blah blah blah.
Well, we need to make payroll.
Exactly.
Yeah, where our customers coming from? Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's interesting.
Cool. So as you got your business started, who are the people you look to as advisors? And so thinking about it from a young business's perspective, an entrepreneur's perspective, who should they have on their team? And like, do you have a financial advisor? Do you have an attorney? Do you have, family members? Like, who is on your team of advisors, and who would you advise that other entrepreneurs seek out to give them advice?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one for us, like our personal story, my dad was the business owner here in Fayetteville County growing up. So we're super blessed to have that arm of wisdom in our life. And, you'll hear it said all the time, but like, owning a business is not for the weak-hearted by any means. It's exciting and it's fun. It's also incredible. You can't ever turn it off. It does not turn off. And that's okay. Like I think we knew that when we signed up for it. I'm not positive. But yeah, so having that perspective from my parents has been just a huge benefit to us just in making decisions just about the business and moving forward. Of course, law, in terms of attorneys, like we've got a very trusted local attorney and CPA that we were connected with early on, probably 5 or 6 years ago as we were thinking through this project. Both have seen huge changes in the trajectory, like the projection of what we were doing. The idea that we had, the idea of like where we are now started as a donut shop. Like we had a finished basement. We were going to do a cottage license, and make donuts out of our basement. I don't know where, like, we just had a passion for donuts. We still do. We still go to donut shop. And that was not me. I was not the entrepreneurial mind. I was very much in like a project management. I started in healthcare. That was the beginning of my journey. And it was all Michael doing that, like, okay, we could do this, like, this is a huge market, we could do blah, blah, blah. So, you know, our trusted advisors, I don't say lightly, because they are so trusted in the fact that, like, they've seen it from the beginning. We've also had several mentors here in the county. And again, like, the theme of all of it is most are local, most understand the nature of what's going on here. Of course, like, reaching, you know, friendships and trusted, like, mentors that aren't here is also important. See what's going on in other towns, but, like, to have someone that's invested in this community is huge. And so, yeah, I would say number one has been family. Number two has definitely been, like, the actual true professionals to keep us grounded. And then number three being mentors that are also business owners in the area and understand, the ebbs and flows of everything.
That's amazing. So as you're getting your business started and off the ground, you said you started in November of last year?
We started, yes. So we opened in our new location in November of last year. Yeah. So the concept and where we were originally opened up in February of 22. February of 22.
Okay. So talk a little bit about marketing, especially for the new location. So give us a sense of what your efforts are, what returns you've seen from those efforts, and how you're tweaking that process.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Marketing's been, like, top in my head all week this week, because I realized that I can't do everything. And while I have people that will help in terms of, like, social media posting and everything, I have been in that mindset this week of, like, okay, let's think more about content creation in a bigger picture and scheme. So that's kind of where I'm in the baby stages now of refreshing. We've had content creation, we've had a marketing director over the past. So originally our business started as an event space, and that was huge in marketing. Well, now we're in this space where, of course, we've got the wine bar market that we want to advertise, but the speakeasy we don't advertise, and so, but that's where a good bit of our content could come from. Of course, it's vibey, it's a dark room, we have the cocktails in there, but that's a business decision. Like, I really am adamant about wanting to keep it a speakeasy. If we're going to call it a speakeasy, then that's the definition. You know, it's not advertised. And so
I've been there. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So most of our content is coming from outside. So we have to continue to keep up what's going on in the market and keep it relevant. And then we still almost every day get the question, I didn't know y'all are here. I didn't, I pass this building all the time. I had no idea you were here. Do you advertise? Yes, of course. Like, we're just advertise. So
where are you getting most of your leads from, and how are you tracking them?
Typically Google ads and Facebook. It's probably a 50-50 of, like, the meta business world versus Google. And another arm of our business is that we have an event space. And so the Hummingbird manages that event space, and it's smaller than what we've done in the past. But it's a beautiful space. This was the old City Hall building. And so where the event space is located is where they held, like, the council meetings and town halls. So super high pitch ceiling, like cathedral ceiling, and just, like, pretty chandeliers and everything. So we worked hard on that space, and it's been fun to see it come to fruition, but it's not like, it's not necessarily suited for a full day type of event, because we've got 4 businesses running during the day. We don't have great parking solution. And so, so the arm of, like, reaching out and reaching leads is a lot of times through that for events. But then in the Hummingbird room, we are very much a word of mouth. Like I'm very really passionate about just continuing to provide a great experience, and then people come, like it's never been a minute where they didn't realize that, you have to retrain their brain of what we're doing, and that takes a long time to get there. But if you're steady and you're open the same hours, like people get it. It just takes a long time. There's more people in this area than we realize, Fayette County,
Absolutely.
obviously, but then the surrounding like 6 counties from us, like there's a great like wide variety of people. So
So that actually kind of dovetails nicely into what ultimately do you want it to become? So thinking 3 to 5 years down the road, what's your vision for your business?
Yeah, it still is the same as when we opened. It's an experience. It's here. It's having a everything fits under that. It's the cocktails that are crafted. It's not it's the crafted cocktails. It's the wine that we're pulling and constantly changing. But then your experience can be a private event. Your experience could be a ticketed event that we're doing. Your experience could be live music or a private wine tasting that we do. It's experience driven. And so that could even fit into the boat of what we're doing in the market with the refrigeration, whether that's Aloe Farms and all the things. It's connecting with the community and being an experience for the community. And again, we're still, we're very passionate and want to make sure that we are always providing an experience of something to do so that community members are not having to drive up to the city for something. Of course, that's always going to happen, but maybe they don't have to all the time. So
what other, outside of the businesses that are in this physical structure where you're located, what other business partnerships have you formed thus far, or is that a strategic initiative?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're located, 240 Glynn Street's located in the Fayetteville Arts District. That's baby stages of what Fayetteville is trying to create with the Arts District. So next door to us is Awkward Brewing. Amanda and Andrew Poliak, they came from Washington. We love them so much. They've just been huge mentors to us and are just doing incredible things with their business. A little backyard brewery. So if you haven't gone, you certainly should. Junk Mamas is next door. Colleen is the new owner. With Cindy Phillips for years and had an amazing following. And then some new businesses that are to come in this area. So locally, just right here, we're doing at least 2 events a year community-wide with the three businesses plus Edward Jones, that is the financial advisor right next to us, that will partner with us. And we've got one coming up March the 23rd. That's a bunny block party the weekend before Easter. We did it this year. 3rd year of doing some form of the bunny block party, but
bunny block party, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have a Easter egg hunt, we'll have live band, special drinks and things.
Is that for kids? Cool. I didn't know about that. That's awesome.
Kids and adults.
So I'll be there. That's amazing.
Come on, yeah, it'll be fun. So locally here, we've got a great relationship with City Cafe that's just right across the street. You can't be much of a wine bar without having food. That's the number one question we always get asked. Java and Brie is great for that and being able to provide like appetizers and light bites. But you need some hearty food every once in a while as well. And Izzy and their team at City Cafe, they're a huge just stakeholder in the community, have been there for years and have a great following. So yeah, the most locally, and then of course we have a great relationship with the city of Fayetteville and what's coming here in the area. So, and I know I missed out on several businesses that are in the area, but yeah, just like off the top of my brain, like those have been just key stakeholders for us.
Yeah, you guys really are riding the wave of what Fayetteville is becoming, and so it's an excellent example of the exact kind of community we're trying to build. So that's phenomenal. So our time is going really fast. So I've got just kind of at the end here, I wanted to ask a couple of rapid fire questions. So short answers, whatever's on your heart. But these are for our audience of young entrepreneurs in the business world, what are your quick answers for these? So what would be the number one key to success for you? What do you try to keep top of mind every day that drives the decisions that you make?
Not necessarily what's your end goal in mind, but like you have to stay focused on the why. Why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? But especially like why. For us, it's to, number one, be able to provide for our family, obviously, and for our children and the future of our family. But number two is to fuel the community. And those are the truly the whys of what we're doing. And we've devoted a lot of years of some bad years, of just trying to like make it and keep going, because we knew that there's possibility and opportunity here, and that the community needs it. We just had to retrain everyone. So yeah.
Very good. And similar to that, that's your key to success. What is the number one piece of advice you'd give a young business owner or an owner of a young business?
I would say stay grounded and connected with the people that are speaking into your life. One of the pieces of advice we got in the very beginning was never let someone, what did he say? Never let someone kill your dream, essentially. And if it's your dream and that's what you're going to do, then go for it. But surround yourself with the people that are going to encourage you and push you on and help you succeed, not the ones that just take or like feed negative thoughts into you. Is just surround yourself with the right community. There were a few years over the last few years that we really just like introverted ourselves and that wasn't the right move. Like we would, if we went back, we would have surrounded ourselves more and like dug in deeper to the community that was around us and not run away from it.
That's perfect. I think, when you are starting a business, I've seen it and been through it myself also, there are many battles that you fight, and you don't always win all of them, but right. You always, in the long run, you always win because there are those lessons from the battles you lost, or you understand what it was that you could have done differently tactically or in your objective setting. That will help to drive you, and not shutting yourself off is a key lesson. That's right. One that our listeners definitely should pay attention to. What is one book you are reading now or have read recently that is driving your decision making today?
That's a hard question. A lot of my books come from
a podcast. I'll give you an out there, a podcast, if that helps you.
Yeah, right. That's good, because I'm like, man, I read in the mornings, but typically that is more self-help, books.
Yeah. Or that's important too. That's important too. I don't want to gloss over that. That's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to support those around you, you have to be strong enough to support them. So you have to make sure to take care of yourself. Yeah,
and without like jumping, like there's a faith aspect for us, and so I have to make sure that I'm right and like in my heart, and that I am being the best mom that I can be and the best wife, and for us, like that's the grounding. It's interesting just in business and like finding the medium between that, but it's important for us, like the faith aspect is. And so so a lot of books are in that aspect, and parenting books like Tantrum, Toddlers. I'm in the thick of like fighting like to get him in the car seat to get to school. So those have been recent. And then best podcast that we've really both Michael and I listen to and kind of keep up with is How I Built This by Guy Raz.
I Built This. Okay.
He's written a book since, if you don't like to listen to podcasts, and with all of his interviews, but it's with business owners. I mean, the very first one I listened to was with Sarah Blakely and Spanx, and just how she went door to door selling like coffee machines or something, and was just like getting it. And then she came up with this idea, and she had to take it to people and in person. I mean, she just kept going and was like the true persistent business owner, and phenomenal. And then, yeah, he just interviews all these entrepreneurs throughout. But yeah, Guy Raz, How I Built This.
Guy Raz, How I Built This. That's awesome. It's a great way to kind of close our time this morning. Again, thank you so much for listening to us and spending a little bit of time with us here today. Again, my name is Aaron Wright. I'm with Action Coach Peachtree. I'm a senior partner here. And again, if you like this video and appreciate more content like this, make sure to click the like and subscribe button there on the bottom. We'll make sure to link to the Guy Raz's podcast, as well as where you can find a little bit more about the Hummingbird also in the description below. So again, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning, and we'll see you on the next Business Spotlight Series interview.
Lovely. Bye. Thanks, Aaron.